Okay, so welcome students. Today we are going to discuss a very important concept, that is production planning and control. You know, production is the process by which goods or services are created. It is creation of utility. Hmm? So we have already discussed several times that it is a value addition process by which raw materials are converted into the outputs, final outputs, with the help of conversion process or technologies involved. So, planning. Planning means preparing the scheme in advance before the actual work is started. So, planning is a decision-making process. We have already discussed several times. It is predetermination of future course of action to meet the desired objectives. We can't plan our past. We can't plan our present. We always go for planning for the future. So, it is a future course of action. Before starting the production, it is necessary to decide in advance what to do, what to produce, how much to produce, and where to sell. These questions are very important while we go for planning. Then the next is production planning. What is production planning? Production planning is the predetermination of future achievement in type of products, volume of production, quality time, manufacturing cost, and the resources required. You can see there are several components which are covered under production planning, and those are type of products. We need to plan what type of products we are going to manufacture, what would be the scale or volume of production, quality time. Okay, so it analyzes all the problems that arise and decides in advance how to address them. So planning is very important, very crucial for any production process. Then, when we say production planning is a technique of forecasting steps involved in the long run production process, taking them at the right time, in the right degree, and trying to complete the operations efficiently. So this is equally important, very important. You must understand that it is a technique of forecasting steps since it deals with the future. So we are going to forecast the steps for the future in long run, that what kind of production process we are going to undertake and how it can be started in time, in the right degree, and trying to complete the operations efficiently. Efficiency is, after all, very important. It considers three fundamental questions: what type of work has to be undertaken, how this work will be done, and when this work has to complete. Then control means supervision of all the relevant operations with the help of control mechanism that feeds back the progress of the work. Control is very important, and it is a supervision mechanism. We need to have an effective control over all the operations, and that is done with the help of control. Controlling is made by comparing the actual performance with the present standards and deviations. So we have given standards, we planned certain things, and while going for control, we need to compare that whether it is going as per the actual plan. And if there is any deviation, then we need to take the corrective measures. Then production control. It is the process to track the control production flow, amount of resources, and deviations we have already discussed from the planned actions. Then it includes arrangements for mid-course correction in case of deviations from the original plan, so that the production can proceed as per the original plan. And this is very important. In due course of action, when we go for planning, when we go for implementation of the plan, what happens sometimes, for some reason, there appears a gap. So we need to identify those gaps and try to address those gaps with the alternative plans so that our production doesn't get affected. In nutshell, production control ensures all which is required to pursue the organizational goal in accordance with the rules established and instructions issued. Then production planning and control. So here all three terms came together: production, planning, and control. You know production, you know planning, and you know control. So what is production planning and control? The PPC may be defined as the direction and coordination of the firm's material and physical facilities toward the accomplishment of predetermined production goals in the most efficient and economical manner. This is very important, that we need to pursue our goals in most efficient and economical manner so that we can maximize our profit. Then production planning and control, when we go further, Gordon and Carson observed that production planning and control involve generally in the organization and planning of manufacturing process. So it is applied in organizations and in planning manufacturing process also. It consists of the planning of routing, scheduling, dispatching, inspection, and coordination, control of materials, methods, machines, tools, and operating time. This is very important. We need to plan each and every aspect of the production, and production planning helps in that. The ultimate objective is the organization of the supply and movement of materials. Supply and movement of materials are very important. Then labors are yes. So we are discussing about the production planning and control. And the ultimate objective is the organization of the supply and movement of materials and labor. Whether you are observing the screen?
No, sir. Please share it.
So, that's very disgusting. Now it is appearing. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, appearing.
Okay. So the ultimate objective is the organization of the supply and movement of material and labor, machines, utilization of and related activities in order to bring about the desired manufacturing results in terms of quality, quantity, and time and place. Planning initiates action while control is an adjusting process, providing corrective measures for plant development. Production control regulates and stimulates the manufacturing process from the beginning to end. So it is PPC that regulates the plan from the beginning to the end. Then what are the benefits of production planning and control? So when we go for benefits of production planning and control, it helps in optimum utilization of capacity. Production planning and control helps the entrepreneur in scheduling the tasks and production runs, and thereby ensures that the productive capacity does not remain idle. Production planning eliminates undue queuing up of tasks by proper allocation of tasks and resources to the production facility. So it helps undue queuing, unnecessary queuing, and eliminates the time. And this helps in optimum utilization of the capacity. Then the next is inventory control. It helps in controlling the inventory of the organization. It helps in maintaining the inventory with the help of just-in-time if possible. Just-in-time means getting the things when it is required. Then economy in production time. We have already discussed that it helps in maintaining the time, adjusting the time, ensuring the time, and thus it creates time economy. Then ensure quality. A good production planning and control ensures adherence to the quality standards so that quality of output is ensured. To sum up, we may say that PPC is of immense value to the entrepreneur in capacity utilization and inventory control. More importantly, it improves his response time and quality. As such, effective production planning control contributes to time, quality, cost parameters of entrepreneurial success. Then what are the objectives of production planning and control? For every organized activity, we have certain objectives, and the objectives of production planning and control is the ultimate objective of production planning and control is to contribute to the profits of the enterprise. This is accomplished by keeping the customer satisfied through meeting of delivery schedules. Specific objectives of production planning and control are to establish routes and schedules for work that will ensure the optimum utilization of materials, workers, and machines, and to provide the means for ensuring the operation of the plant in accordance with these plans. So, what are the steps followed in production planning and control? The first step is production planning itself. We need to plan the production itself. Then second is the production control planning. How we are going to control, how we are going to monitor, how we are going to supervise the operations, production. So this is the second step. Then third step is routing, means deciding the path, route. Then scheduling, loading, dispatching, following up, inspection of corrective sequence of operations, and to ensure that this sequence is strictly followed. So routing is the first step in production planning and control. Routing can be defined as the process of deciding the path, that is route, of work and the sequence of operations. So most of the operations are pursued in a given sequence, and it helps in maintaining those sequences. Routing fixes in advance the quantity and quality of the product, the main machine, materials, etc. to be used, the type, number, and sequence of manufacturing operations, and the place of production. So all these are fixed by the routings. Then, in short, routing determines what, how much, with which, and how and where to produce. So this is very important. What to produce, how much to produce, how and where to produce. This is very important. The main objective of routing is to determine the best and cheapest sequence of operations and to ensure that this sequence is followed in the factory. So we have to follow the best and cheapest sequence, and there the role of routing comes, and it ensures the best and cheapest sequence in the factory. Then different activities in routing. Routing procedure involves following activities: an analysis of the article to determine what to make and what to buy. This is very important, that we must have clarity, we must know that what is to be produced and what to buy for that. So this is very important, what we are going to produce and what are the materials that is required to be procured. So this is the first. Then second is to determine the quality and type of material. With the growing income, with the globalization, quality has become very important for any production, and it helps in determining the quality and type of materials. Then determining the manufacturing operations and their sequences, determination of lot size, determination of scrap factors, organization of production controls. These are the different activities in routing. Then the next step is loading. Loading is the execution of schedule plan as per the route chalked out, which includes the assignment of the work to the operators at their machine or workplaces. So it is, when we say routing, it is the execution of schedule plan that we fixed in the route while deciding about the routing. Okay, and then we assign the work to the operators and their machines or workplace. Then Gantt chart are most commonly used in small industries in order to determine the existing load and also to foresee how fast a job can be done. It is a type of bar chart that illustrates project schedule. The charts explain that the start and finish dates of terminal elements and summary elements of a project. So this chart contains the details of the start and finish dates. Then third step is scheduling. Scheduling is the last of the planning functions. It is the last step in the planning function. It is very important. Scheduling is the last of planning function. It determines when an operation is to be performed or when work is to be completed. The difference lies in the detail of the scheduling procedure. In a centralized control situation where all process planning, loading, and scheduling for the plant are done in a central office, The details of the schedule may specify the starting and finishing time for an operation. On the other hand, the central schedule may simply give a completion time for the work in a given department. So this is scheduling. Then production control is the process of planning production in advance of operations, establishing the exact route of each individual item part or assembly setting, starting and finishing for each important item, or the finishing production and releasing the necessary orders, as well as initiating the necessary follow-ups to have the smooth function of the enterprise. Then next step is dispatching. Dispatching is the release of order and instructions for starting of the production of an item as per the route sheet and schedule charts. So at the previous planning stage, we were dealing with the plans. And when we go for dispatching, then we start implementing those plans. So dispatching is a release of orders and instructions to start the production of an item as per the route sheet and schedule chart that we prepared during the routing. Movement of material to different work stations, movement of tools and fixtures necessary for each operations, beginning of work and on each operation, recording of time and cost involved in each operation, movement of work from one operation to another in accordance with the route sheet, and inspecting or supervision of work comes under dispatching. So dispatching is an important step as it translates production plans into production. Then next step is follow-up. Every production program involves determination of the progress of work, removing bottlenecks in the flow of work and ensuring that productive operations are taking place in accordance with the plans. So follow-up helps in getting these, in keeping eyes on this. Follow-up delays or deviations from the production plan. It helps to reveal defects in routing and scheduling, misunderstanding of orders and instructions, underloading or overloading of work. So this is very important. Follow-up is very important. When we start a plan, we must follow it up. And then the next step is inspection. So this is mainly to ensure the quality of goods. We need to inspect for the quality. It can be required as effective agency of production control. So then the next step is corrective measures. If we see that there is some deviation, there is some gap, there is differences as what we planned and what is being done, then we need to undertake a corrective measures. Corrective action may involve any of those activities of adjusting the route, rescheduling of work, changing the workloads, repairs and maintenance of machinery or equipment, control our inventories of the cause of deviation is the poor performance of the employee. Certain personal decisions like training, transfer, promotion, demotion, etc. may have to be taken. So these are the corrective measures. If the performance is in accordance with the plan, then we need to decide the incentive measures. If there is some deviation without any reason, then demotion or other correct actions may be taken. Then replanning. If the reason is genuine, the reason for deviation is genuine, then we need to replan. Replanning is not a corrective action. You must understand, replanning revises routes, loads, and schedules. A new plan is developed. In manufacturing, this is often required. Changes in market conditions, manufacturing methods, or many other factors affecting the plants will often call for the replanning. So replanning is also very, very important in production planning and control process. So we have discussed about the various aspects of production planning and control, and this is for now.